One thing that I talk to so many clients about, so many people in my community, fellow introverts and business owners, is about how, as a quiet, sensitive person, as someone who can be impacted by the energy of others and the online world and all of the noise out there, why it is so important to build an email list, but also how to do it in a way that feels really energizing and good for you. It may not be in your interest or in alignment with your energy and your big vision to be active on social media all the time, to be, doing things a certain way that we've been taught we should be doing it. But building an email list is a beautiful way to connect in a more deep, meaningful, and intentional way with your people and share your work with them. So that's what today's video is about. This is actually a video from my free Facebook community, the League of Extraordinary Introverts, where we all come together as introverts and highly sensitive people in business to talk about business related things, to talk about energy, to talk about being seen and heard in the noisy online world. So please feel free to come and join us. The link will be in the description down below, and so here it is. So today we're talking about something that is super unsexy, and literally when I told my partner that this is something that we're focusing on in Emerge and Expand this quarter, we're doing a list building momentum builder. He said to me, list building is not sexy, and he's absolutely right. Even though emails, emails are important, and having an email list is important. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today. It isn't something that we think of front of mind necessarily these days, because I think of the years and years that people have been sending emails, and the fact that they don't carry the same weight that they necessarily used to, because the same as we used to be excited by the mail, and then in the mail you get all your bills, and now we get so many emails each and every day. But that does not take away from how important it is to have an email list and to nurture it and to use it, create a community in your own way. So it is still important, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And for those of us who are a little bit less comfortable with sharing ourselves, sharing our stories, sharing our personal lives on something like a public social media page or profile, having an email list as a way to build deep and meaningful connections with your people is so, so valuable, because these are people who have opted in. They've had to take that extra step. They're not just randomly seeing you while they're scrolling on social media. They have to take the step to actually opt in, to give you their personal details and tell you, basically let you know that they want to hear more from you. And so not only is that a huge honor, especially in the world where there is so much noise online, it is something that we should take seriously. And the reason why it's been front of mind for me this month, and many of you in Australia may have been feeling or thinking the same thing, that when Facebook overnight decided to remove all news and all ability for people in Australia to share news on social media, on the Facebook pages or their Facebook profiles, we really got a reminder of how quickly and how easily it can be that a social media platform like Facebook can make a decision overnight that significantly impacts us and our ability to do business. If you've been here for a while, which those of you who are here live I know have, you know that I am a big fan of really not taking for granted how lucky we are to live in the time that we do, where we have been able to basically, many of us start businesses for very, very low cost because of social media, and the online business and the internet has made it so affordable to do so, that we can get in front of people who would never normally find us without having to pay anything. And so I'm a massive fan of the way that we can use social media to build our businesses. But this reminder of the way that Facebook made that decision based on, a bunch of other things going on in Australia and within our government and our media right now, how quickly it can be taken away from us. And so they're the two things that are why I think we really need to be focusing on building our own list. And the reason is that when we have our own email list, when we have our own website, they are ours that we own in terms of we actually own the IP. We have control over what happens with it in a way that we just don't when we're posting on social media, when we're uploading things to YouTube, when we're using other platforms in order to be able to get in front of our people. So today I want to share with you 3 things to think about when you're setting an actual intention for building your list, whether you are just starting out from 0 or whether you have thousands of people on your list and you're wanting to just really put some more energy into that, because maybe you might be like a little bit like I've been in the last few years and kind of not given it as much attention as you maybe would like to. So let's get started. If anyone has questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat, either now if you're watching on the replay, and I'll come back to you. I'd love to hear from you. What are you using to, how are you bringing people into your list? Is it something that you've given any energy to, or is it something that you feel that you probably need to pay some more attention to? Or are you like my partner and do you think that email is not sexy at all and you want nothing to do with it? I hope by the end of today's live that you feel differently about it. So, as with everything, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that before we go into anything that we're doing in our business, is thinking about the bigger picture. This is what I say all the time. I bang on about it constantly because I believe that in order to really put the work in, to do the grindy kind of day in and day out things that we need to do in our businesses sometimes, we need to have a bigger picture and a bigger vision for why we're actually doing it. Now, for you, building your list could be a number of different things. It could be to start to build those deeper, meaningful connections with people who want what you have, experience or expertise or a service that you're providing. It could be thinking about bringing people on that journey with you. It could be that you have products or something that you're selling and you want to create that community so that it is much easier to send an email out and call in the people who are ready to take the next step than it is to be posting on social media like a shotgun approach and hoping the right people see it. So actually taking a moment to sit down and go, what is my intention here? What is the bigger picture of building this list? And what is the bigger journey that you want to take somebody on? And so, like I always say, if you think of your main offering as the end of the journey, the end of the path, I was thinking about it like the gold, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. What are the steps that somebody who is your ideal client or your dream person that you want to work with, that they need to take in order to be ready to say yes to this? Like I always say, we don't get control over who says yes and what the decisions that people outside of ourselves make. But we are the ones that need to show up and at least have an intention or have a plan for what kind of journey you might take somebody on. And so when you're thinking about your list, when you're thinking about inviting someone to sign up to hear more from you, thinking about the big picture, the end goal, is actually a really good way to start to fill in those gaps. So I know a lot of people, they go, oh, I don't know what I should write in emails, or I don't know what kind of opt-in I should create for people. When you kind of begin with the end in mind, you have then clarity around, okay, if this is the last step for someone to say yes to joining my program or working with me in this way or buying my product, whatever it might be, what other steps that they might need to take from that point A, which we talked about in Master Your Message, if you were part of that, and that they need to take to get from there to be ready to say yes to join your program or buy your thing or whatever that might be. And so when we think in this way, we can actually kind of get a clearer picture of, well, in order for someone to say yes to working with me in this way, they need to have actually worked out what it is they want or what it is they're trying to achieve or what their big vision is, or have some clarity around why your service is an answer to what they're looking for right now. And so that can help you to start to actually reverse engineer what it is that you offer them, and then what you want to send them, what information or what stories or what case studies or the testimonials or the journey that you build out for them in an email sequence, or a series of emails that can guide them to other resources that you've created, or other content or posts or offerings that you've created that can help take them on that journey in a way that is really natural and feels really good for them, in a way that you're providing heaps of value, and then you're actually giving them opportunities to take the next step with you, whether they do or not. So that is the first thing. What is the bigger picture that you're actually creating for your people, and what is the journey that you want to take them on, which will help you to really, thinking of that end goal first and then working backwards from there can be a really, really helpful way to do that. Number 2 is, how can you make it really, really easy for them? So like I said, one thing that people say all the time when they're thinking about creating opt-ins, that it has to be this huge big thing that takes lots of time to put together. And the reality is that, I don't know about you, but I have downloaded so many audio series and video series and ebooks and guides and all of the things over the years, and never looked at them, like never even opened them up. It's like, oh, that sounds interesting, I'll sign up for that. Oh, but it's so long, I'll look at it later. And then it goes into a folder on my computer, and I never open it or look at it again. So what is one little piece that comes into the work that you do that you can share, that is super easy, like immediately implementable, and something that they can put into action straight, quickly read and understand, put into action straight away, and have a result, or something that happens as a result of them doing that one thing that is directly linked to the work that you do. So if you are, say, an energy healer, is it an activation or a meditation or a practice or a tool or just a mindset shift that you have created or experienced, or that you share with your high-end one-on-one clients, that you can take out of that and make into its own little mini offer that you can then share with people, so that they can start to experience what would happen, what their life would be like if they worked with you. If you are a copywriter, what is a little simple exercise or prompt that you can share with your people that helps them to understand why their copy is so important? So it might be a template or a series of prompts that actually starts to make them realize that, it could even be like a before and after, the different, where you've there's in Stephen King's book on writing, this has just come to me, he actually shows how to make a piece of writing for a fiction book better by going through, at the end of the book, there's like a paragraph, and he basically goes through and explains what makes it good and what makes it bad. Could you create something like that to show someone the impact that their copy has when you read it, and what the differences are and why it's important to focus on that? All the time, creating something really simple and easy to help your people to see that your service or your offer is something that will really help to move the needle for them, to take time out of the equation, to help them to take the next step. So that is number 2. Number 1, what is the bigger journey? What is that you're leading someone along? Like I always say, it is not up to you where they get on and off the path, but to have that bigger picture for yourself of the journey that you want to create and take somebody on means that your ideal people will probably walk that whole journey with you, and then there'll be lots of other people who come on and off throughout the way. Number 2, what is one little piece of the work that you've created or the work that you do that you can share with someone, to not only give them an example of the work that you do and what it would be like to work with you, but to also help them to get a little experience, but also an outcome that helps them to see, like, oh wow, that was really helpful. I can see the value in this now, and to then start to build that trust and that relationship with them. And then number 3 is, what is it that you are going to do? Like, why should somebody stay on your list? And actually thinking about, well, what is it that you can continue to share with them that they can't get anywhere else than if they are subscribed to your newsletter or to your email list? So again, coming back to the bigger picture, building on that, reverse engineering it and going, what are some behind the scenes? What are some stories that you can tell? What are some case studies or some examples of people who have worked with you and the amazing outcomes that they've had? What are some things that you've learned or some things that you teach or that you share with your high-end clients that you can let your people in on, so that they're getting something by being on your list, by opening your emails, that they can't get by following you on social media, that they're not going to get by subscribing to your podcast or, you know, being in your Facebook group. How can you constantly make it valuable for them to be part of your inner circle, your community via email? And this doesn't mean that it actually has to be hard or that it has to be like, oh, I've got to write another piece of content. It might be that, say, you do a weekly or a fortnightly podcast or video. Can you create a little behind the scenes of outtakes, or, you know, can you tell a little story about why that's your focus for the week? Or is there a resource that you can share with people that when they read your blog, they get the kind of content, but when they're on your mailing list, they get access to a worksheet or a checklist or a template or something that's going to help them to implement what you've written on your blog, that they can then take action straight away by being on your list. So again, what we're doing is we're taking a snapshot of the bigger picture. We're breaking it down into like, where are they and what do they need to be ready to work with you? And then also, how can you continue to remind them to stay on your list, to open your emails, to be engaged with your content? How can you create questions or calls to action and actually invite them to reply and email you? Because again, we're thinking about, as introverts, as quiet sensitive souls, how can we be building that deep and meaningful one-on-one connection with our people without it being, you know, a big exhausting thing? And that can be as simple as inviting people to reply to your emails or asking a question and asking them what they think. That is a really beautiful way that you can really easily and organically start to create those relationships with your list. And that kind of just builds this beautiful community without it having to be a big group that you have to facilitate. So they are my 3 tips for thinking about list building a little bit differently and thinking about, well, what actually happens when you get people to sign up to your list? What is the bigger picture journey that you want to take somebody on? What is a little piece that you can share with them to start leading them on that journey, that you can show them and give them an example of what it's like to work with you? And then what is it that you can give, what value can you give that is not over the top, it's just little tiny pieces of your behind the scenes of stories that you would rather share in a kind of more personal, intimate way than, you know, publicly on social media? And how can you keep inviting people to engage with your emails, open them, and get something amazing from them? That's it. So there are a million things I can talk about when it comes to list building, in terms of like, how is it that you can continually be inviting people to join your list? Where can you put all of the links? What can you do and create to actually make it really easy for people to sign up? And I don't have time for all of them, but if you have questions, please, please, please pop them in the comments below and I will be happy to answer or support you in that way. If you are interested in being part of like actually setting that intention and working each week for the next few months to actually intentionally build your list, to put time and energy into it, and you're looking for some support, some accountability, and some tools and resources to help you do that, a plan, a strategy, all of the things, then I would love for you to join us in Emerge and Expand, because that's what we're focusing on this quarter. There is no time limit, but we are kind of all working together at the moment to kind of energize and build our lists together. So that is something that if you join us at any point in time, we do have our first monthly call at 11 a.m. today. So if you want to jump in and jump on that, I will pop a link in the description for this video so that you can check it out, and you'll get instant access to all of those resources and everything as well, so you can jump on this and start taking action immediately. But like I said, if you have any questions about your list, about creating enticing opt-ins to get people to be interested to join your community, to stay in there and to get value from your work and your content, please leave them in the comments below. And otherwise, I will catch you all on the next one. So I hope that training was helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments below if there's anything new that you hadn't thought of before that is now getting those cogs turning when thinking about building your list. If you're interested in accessing more trainings like this, they happen regularly in the League of Extraordinary Introverts Facebook group. You can join that via the link in the description down below. And I've also created a really simple guide and checklist for thinking about new ways to grow your list, where to put it out in the world, and how to call in the right people for the work that you do and who you want to work with. You can grab that below as well. It is also free. If you're an introvert or highly sensitive person in business and interested in creating that introvert-friendly business, I would love for you to stick around and be part of this community. Please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notifications every time I upload a new video. And I just want to thank you so much for being here and watching. Please let me know in the comments below if there is anything else that you have questions around. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.